What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Bluebud Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated WBC lightweight world champion, superstar boxer Devin the Dream Haney calls out the longest reigning champion in the sport of boxing, WBC featherweight world champion, superstar boxer Mr. Gary Russell Jr., and undefeated two-division world champion, currently the WBA lightweight world champion, Gervonta Tank Davis. Devin the Dream Haney is in negotiations to stage a showdown between himself and Mr. Gary Russell Jr., and he has been calling out Gervonta Tank Davis for quite some time. If you don't know, Devin Haney says in a recent post, man, these dudes are scared, they capping, they running, and I run the DMV. If you don't know what that is, that's the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And DC is where Gary Russell is from, and Baltimore is where Gervonta Tank Davis is from. The three states are they're very, very close. That's why it's the DMV area, right? And so with that said, he says I run the DMV area because he's saying that Mr. Gary Russell Jr., after receiving all that he asked for in the contract negotiations with Devin Haney to stage a November 7th or a December 26th showdown between the two, he says that Gary Russell Jr. is now asking for putting other stipulations in the contract in order for him to maneuver out the fight. He's been calling out Gervonta Tank Davis, and Gervonta Tank Davis said that he's just a clout baby. He's just chasing clout. He don't really want the fight. And Devin Haney told Gervonta Tank Davis, if you feel like I'm just clout chasing, he says, well, then call my bluff. Send me a contract. Let's make the fight happen. Let's see if I'm just clout chasing. Let's see if I really want it or not. So now Devin Haney is saying that these dudes are just capping. They don't really want big fights. He says, I run the DMV area. Wow. That's huge. You know, I believe that Mr. Gary Russell Jr. will sign the contract. I think that they will get a deal done. Gary Russell had gave them to Friday, which was yesterday, to send over a contract so they could have everything squared away, in which they signed the contract over within 24 hours. And Gary Russell Jr. says that now in the contract for the rematch clause, there's a rematch clause in there. Obviously, Devin Haney's the champion. Gary Russell Jr., if you're confused, is the champion at 126. Devin Haney's the WBC champion at 135. So Gary Russell has to vacate his 126-pound WBC title and move up 2 weight classes to 135 to challenge Devin Haney for his WBC title. So that Devin Haney is putting a rematch clause because he's the champion, and at this point, Gary Russell Jr. is the challenger. Gary Russell is now putting stipulations in the contract that says that if he wins the fight, he wants to pick and choose what network and what platform that the rematch takes place on, because at that point in time, he'll be the A-side and he'll be the champion. So he wants to say so, and where this fight takes place, how it takes place, and when it takes place, right? Rightfully so. I understand that because he is a champion right now. He is vacating his title, but he is the champion. And if you go by how the WBO does things, the WBO, if you 100, let's use Terrence Crawford, for example. Terrence Crawford was the junior welterweight undisputed champion, which means he held all 4 major sanctioned bodies, and he held the WBO. So when he moved up from 140 to 147, the full welterweight limit, he automatically got a chance to fight for the WBO title because he was the WBO title holder at 140, and he never lost it in the ring. So they gave him the opportunity to jump ahead of the line. And this is a form of what Gary Russell was trying to do with the WBC by allowing himself to have some say-so should he beat Devin Haney and become the WBC 135-pound champion. He wants a rematch clause that states that he's able to dictate when, where, and what platform the rematch takes place. I understand that. I believe that Devin Haney and Gary Russell Jr. fight will come to fruition. Devin Haney wants the fight to take place November 7th. Gary Russell and his team said they want the fight to take place December 26th. I don't see why the fight can't take place November 7th. Gary Russell said he needed 8 weeks of training camp. Gary Russell stays in shape. He's actually training right now. So I don't know why he needs more than 7 weeks of training camp to prepare for Devin Haney. And pushing it back another month, could be an issue because there's a lot of big heavyweight showdowns in the month of December. You have the highly anticipated trilogy match between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury going to take place in December. You have Anthony Joshua Kubrat Pulev going to take place in December. You also have the rematch between Dillian White and Alexander Povetkin going to take place in December. So the heavyweight division, I always say this, as the heavyweight division goes, so goes the sport of boxing. And so you don't want to compete with the heavyweight division. They are going to run December. Okay, so you don't want to put on a fight in December and compete with the heavyweight division, because you will get overshadowed. You will get overshadowed. Imagine if a big upset. Imagine if Kubrat Pulev beats Anthony Joshua. That is going to be the talk of the month. If Deontay Wilder beats Tyson Fury, that is going to be the talk of the month. It will get overshadow Devin Haney versus Gary Russell Jr. So I believe I'm on the side of Devin Haney and Team Haney when they said they wanted it in November 7th. I think that's the perfect date for this fight. I think a fight will come to fruition. I think it will get over the hump. As far as Devin Haney and Gervonta Tank Davis, it doesn't seem like Gervonta Tank Davis is too interested in fighting Devin Haney. He says that after his fight with 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Leo Santa Cruz, October 24th, that he will be looking to face another Mexican superstar, rising boxer, Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia has a big showdown coming up. Hasn't been announced, with Luke Campbell. So should Ryan Garcia get past Luke Campbell, it's looking like you're going to get Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. So Devin Haney seems to be the avoided man within the sport of boxing currently right now. And he's calling any and everybody out. So he's saying he runs the DMV because the 2 top boxers coming out the DMV want no parts of him. But that's all I got for y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon, and get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share the videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.